Davis disappeared May 16th in Alexander City.
And this morning at about 7:45, she was found in a wooded area. Her remains were found in a wooded area.
Over the weekend, family and friends in the community came together to look for Quanisha, but they haven't found anything yet.
This is the tragic story of Quanisha Davis, a 30-year-old resident of Alexander City, Alabama, whose quiet demeanor and compassionate spirit endeared her to the community. Known for her willingness to lend a helping hand, Quanisha was a beloved figure among her neighbors, embodying kindness and reliability. However, the tranquility of her life was shattered when Quanisha was reported missing on May 24, 2024. The news spread quickly, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community, where disbelief turned to concern as days passed without any trace of her. Tragically, the search for Quanisha Davis came to a devastating end on May 30th, when her body was discovered in a wooded area on Buck Street in Dadeville, Alabama. Welcome to Urban Crime Stories. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified of future crime stories. Quanisha Davis was known as a private yet easygoing member of her community. Her quiet demeanor and friendly nature made her a beloved figure among her neighbors. Despite her reserved personality, she was always willing to lend a helping hand to those in need, earning the respect and affection of those around her. The tranquility of her life was abruptly shattered when Quanisha was reported missing on May 24th. The news of her sudden disappearance spread quickly, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. Friends and family were left in a state of disbelief, struggling to comprehend how someone so well-liked and unassuming could vanish without a trace. Authorities were immediately notified and a search effort was launched, but initial leads were scarce.
A mother of 4 vanishes. She's been missing now going on 2 weeks.
Quanisha Davis's family is even more desperate for answers tonight, so they're appealing to the public for help.
Quanisha Davis was reportedly last seen in Dadeville, Alabama on May 17th. Her family, who had not heard from her since the day before, grew increasingly worried and began actively searching for her.
Ms. Davis was reported missing to the Alex City Police Department. During the investigation, it was determined that she was last seen and heard from on May 17th in the area of Dadeville.
Despite their best efforts, their attempts to reach her went unanswered, and their concern turned to alarm as days passed without any word from Quanisha.
Quanisha's friends and family say she's quiet and kind, always a friendly face at cookouts and family gatherings.
On May 16th, the day before she was last seen, Quanisha had spent time with her family, and everything seemed normal. She had made no mention of any plans that would take her out of town or away from her regular routine. This made her sudden disappearance even more baffling.
Quanisha Davis's father and stepmother live in Michigan. They heard about the disappearance of their daughter over the phone. They say their hearts broke for their grandchildren as they called for their mother.
Her family described her as a responsible and reliable person who would never just vanish without informing someone. As the hours turned into days, their worry intensified, prompting them to contact the authorities and report her missing.
Davis disappeared May 16th in Alexander City. Family members who live in Michigan talked to our Julia Avant.
The Tallapoosa County Sheriff's Office took the report seriously and began a thorough investigation. They conducted interviews with friends, family, and anyone who might have seen her in the days leading up to her disappearance. Search parties were organized and the community rallied together, scouring the areas around Alexander City and Dadeville. Despite the extensive efforts, no significant leads were found, and the mystery of Quanisha Davis's disappearance only deepened, leaving her family and the community in a state of desperate uncertainty. Quanisha Davis was reported missing to the Alexander City Police Department on Friday, May 24th. As the days passed with no sign of her, the sense of urgency grew.
I reached out to the Alex City Police for any updates as of now, Mark. All they could tell me is that this is an ongoing investigation.
The authorities intensified their efforts, scouring the surrounding areas for any clue that could lead them to her. The community held on to hope, but the silence was deafening. A breakthrough came on the evening of Wednesday, May 29th.
On the 29th, her vehicle was located in a wooded area off North Loop in Dadeville, and at that point, the vehicle was secured, processed.
When authorities located Davis's white 2006 Ford Explorer, the vehicle was discovered abandoned in a secluded wooded area on North Loop Road in Dadeville. The discovery of her car raised more questions than answers. Why was it left there? Was it a sign of foul play, or had she willingly left it behind? Investigators combed through the vehicle for any evidence that could shed light on her whereabouts. Inside the Ford Explorer, investigators found personal belongings, but nothing that immediately indicated what had happened to Quanisha. The area around the car was thoroughly searched, but there were no immediate signs of a struggle or clues pointing to her direction. The discovery of the vehicle marked a pivotal moment in the investigation, shifting the focus to the surrounding woods and deepening the mystery of Quanisha Davis's disappearance. As the search persisted, the Alexander City community stayed anxious yet united, all hoping for Quanisha's safe return. Volunteers collaborated with law enforcement in the search efforts, and news briefings were held to keep her story in the spotlight. Despite the absence of definitive answers, the resolve to find Quanisha and bring her home never wavered, as her family and friends held on to the hope that she would be found safe.
Over the weekend, family and friends in the community came together to look for Quanisha, but they haven't found anything yet.
And the community was coming together. The community is a great town. This town is a little town. It's not very big. And the town's coming together. We got boaters that are bringing their boats out. We have people that are getting search parties together.
The search for Quanisha Davis took a tragic turn on Thursday, May 30th, when her body was discovered shortly before 8 a.m. in a wooded area on Buck Street in Dadeville. The news of her death sent shockwaves through Alexander City, devastating her family and the tight-knit community that had hoped for her safe return.
And this morning at about 7:45, she was found in a wooded area. Her remains were found in a wooded area off of Heron Street in Dadeville, which is in the city limits of Dadeville there. And from there, she was transported to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences for an autopsy to determine the cause of death.
The discovery marked the end of a nearly 2-week-long search that had consumed the hearts and minds of everyone involved. Authorities quickly cordoned off the area where Quanisha's body was found, meticulously collecting evidence to piece together the events leading to her untimely death. While the details of how she died remain undisclosed, investigators confirmed that she was killed sometime between May 19th and May 30th. The timeline suggested that she had been missing for several days before her body was found, deepening the mystery and urgency to uncover what had happened during that time. As the investigation continued, the community grappled with grief and a deep sense of loss. Vigils were held in Quanisha's memory, with friends, family, and neighbors coming together to mourn and support one another. The Tallapoosa County Sheriff's Office urged anyone with information to come forward, emphasizing the need for community cooperation in solving the case. The tragic end of Quanisha Davis's life left many questions unanswered, but the determination to seek justice for her remained steadfast. On May 30th, the same day Quanisha Davis's body was found, a significant development occurred in the investigation. During the evening, Robert Lee Young, a 55-year-old man who had been in a dating relationship with Quanisha, was charged with her murder. Young, who was already out on bond for a domestic violence charge, quickly became the central figure in the case.
At approximately 11 a.m. this morning, Robert Lee Young, age 55, at 243, address 243 Astor Street in Dadeville, was arrested and has been charged with murder.
His arrest added a new layer of complexity and tragedy to an already heart-wrenching situation. Robert Lee Young's legal troubles began earlier in the year when Dadeville police charged him with third-degree domestic violence, menacing, and certain persons forbidden to possess a firearm. This incident allegedly occurred at 5:30 a.m. on New Year's Day, leading to Young's arrest on January 7th. He was released on bond the following day. Despite the conditions of his bond, which prohibited contact with Quanisha, he allegedly continued the relationship, culminating in the tragic events leading to her death. In light of the new murder charge, Tallapoosa County prosecutors moved swiftly to have Young's bond revoked. They argued that he had violated the conditions of his release by maintaining contact with Quanisha and committing a new crime. An autopsy was ordered to determine the exact cause of Quanisha's death, with authorities seeking to build a comprehensive case against Young. The community, still reeling from the loss, watched closely as the legal proceedings unfolded, hoping for justice for Quanisha Davis. On June 24, 2024, it was reported that Robert Young is currently awaiting a bond hearing, a critical step in the legal process that could determine his immediate future. Given the severity of the new charges against him, there is a strong possibility that more charges could be pending as the investigation continues to unfold. Despite his status, Young remains held in jail, unable to secure his release. The bond hearing will be a significant event, not only for Young but also for the family and friends of Quanisha Davis, who are seeking justice for her untimely death. Prosecutors are expected to argue vigorously for the revocation of his bond, citing his violation of the conditions of his previous release and the seriousness of the new allegations. The community, still in shock over the recent developments, hopes that the legal system will take firm action to prevent further harm. What are your thoughts about this case? Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. Remember, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for future crime stories. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you on another episode of Urban Crime Stories.